Ladies and gentlemen, without any news for like a year and a half, it's finally happened. We have been blessed by the Bethesda gods. We've been blessed by God Howard and all of the wonderful people over at Bethesda. Today, I wanted to break down every single new thing that has been announced, both free and paid, coming to Starfield. To start, there is one piece of paid content that came out technically yesterday. It came out yesterday. It is available in the creations menu. There is no update to the game necessary. Just update the creation itself if you own it. It is the Trackers Alliance creation. It used to be called the Vulture, and now it has several new bounties to hunt instead of just one new bounty and one new weapon, which I think is a pretty awesome way to apologize for a lack of updates if you own the creation, of course. Everything else that they announced yesterday is coming in April 7th, so about 3 weeks from now, when all will be revealed. And I'm going to break down all of that in this video. So to start, the free content is part of an update called the Free Lanes update. Since launch, there's only really been one way to space travel, and it's a loading screen. Just loading screen here, loading screen there, loading screen here, loading screen there. With this new update, there is a new mode called Cruise Mode. When you are in a solar system, you can choose a planet in the solar system to just autopilot to. It will happen in real time. It's not a loading screen. You can get up, you can interact with stuff in your ship, you can talk to your companions or use the decoration menu. You will bump into a bunch of radiant points of interest during these travels. You can bump into asteroid fields or ship wreckage. You can jump straight into a group of pirates or spacers or House of Varun. And then, you have to run back to your seat, get on the guns, get it out of the way before you can continue your journey. There are also new actual POIs that you can land on and explore. All of those new things, you have the option to do that as well. And honestly, I thought that was going to be the end of the update, right? I thought it was just going to be like, oh, cool, like new space travel, that's all we got. But like, there's so much more. So they announced a new resource called X-Tech. You're going to come across X-Tech through combat and exploration. This new resource will let you customize your weapons, your gear, and even your ships. So you will find this X-Tech stuff, and you take it to a machine to re-roll the legendary effects on your weapons until you get the one you want. If you've re-rolled 5 times and you don't get the legendary effect that you want, then on the 6th re-roll, a full list of all of the legendary effects will pop up, and you can pick the modifier that you want. On top of that, there are now tier 4 legendary effects. Helmets, packs, suits, weapons. Once you have a rank 3 legendary item, you can apply a new rank 4 effect. Same deal, using credits and X-Tech. It counts as a new weapon rarity. It will no longer be legendary. It will become exotic. The quality tiers, not the legendary or rarities, but the quality tiers, there are now 2 new quality tiers above advanced. There is superior and exceptional quality. And the last piece of X-Tech news that we got is that your ship has a new terminal called a ship optimization terminal. You can use X-Tech to upgrade different systems like your shield strength or your weapons damage, your engine speed, your grav drive, things like that. We didn't get a whole lot of details about that. That is the only thing we know about it, but I love being given the opportunity to make sure that my guns pack a little extra punch, so that's going to be fun to try out. They did show a couple of tiny things regarding outposts. They showed a shared outpost container, which is a container that you build at your outpost that will share the same inventory or container, whatever phrase you want to use, with any other shared outpost container you build at another outpost. So if I'm on one planet and I throw my armor into this shared outpost container and I fly to an outpost on another planet and build a container, I can pull the armor out there. There's also a new database system, which is something I've been asking for since day one. It'll appear in the character menu. It'll help you find all of your outposts, but it also pulls together everything that you've learned, all of the information about all of the locations that you've been to, recipes that you've gathered, resources and ingredients that you've researched, and where to find them. All they're packing all of that into one space. And you can even use this database as a way to favorite the planets that you frequently visit so that they are easily within reach without having to open the menu, I'm assuming. Last two things that they showed for outposts, and I need to double check because I'm of the impression that one of these is paid. But you can have a pet. The pet is part of the free update. It's called a Millie Whale. You can change its colors. You can make it perform tricks. It's a cute little dude. I love him. He's adorable. You will find a new location during the new spaceflight system called the Anchor Point. It is a space system where a lot of the new quests and content will be, and you need to complete a quest there in order to unlock this pet. But the other thing regarding outposts that I don't know if it's free or not is a sort of all-in-one little like prefab mini home that comes with like all the furniture, all of the decorations pre-built into it when you place it down. People who don't particularly like using the outpost menu very often. Well, again, I'm not entirely certain if that is paid content or not. There were also a couple of new exploration things, but there's also some new game plus content, so let's get into that. So regarding the new game plus, you can now upgrade your starborn abilities without starting new game plus, without having to find additional temples. You can max out your favorite abilities, and then favorite quantum essence itself now from the powers menu to be able to refill your power meter in the middle of combat. You can string together combos and stuff now. That's really cool. But the thing I'm most excited for is the quantum entanglement device. And what the quantum entanglement device does is you build this machine at the lodge after you build the armillary with all the artifacts. You can build this device. You can use quantum essence to expand the space in it. And what it does is anything that you put into this machine will carry over into your new game plus playthrough. So if you have a gun that you just really don't want to part ways with, stick it in there right before you take off, and you can just grab it the minute you get to the lodge in your next new game plus playthrough. I already mentioned Anchor Point, a new star station with new vendors and quests. They talked about that a little, very briefly. It does look very neat. I'm interested in seeing what they have planned with that. They have new ship modules that grant unique abilities to your ship. There's a new stealth module so that when you boost, your ship turns invisible and cloaks. These modules will drop as like schematics in ship combat. So you just take them to a ship services technician after you acquire them, and you can build them there, or I'm assuming anywhere. When you're customizing your gear, there's a new upgrade module slot. This will let you upgrade specific stats. For example, like if you want to upgrade a weapon, you can upgrade the rate of fire, you can upgrade the range, things like that. There is a bunch of new planetary points of interest. It seems, based on the impression that they gave, that they have fully reworked the procedural generation. It is still procedurally generated, but there is a much higher chance of finding new points of interest. They made some new points of interest on top of these changes. There is new crew members. You can find a crew member in New Atlantis near Galbank. There's some new side quests. There's a new vehicle that you can apparently only find at a certain point of interest through exploration. It has a much heavier, longer lasting boost. One of the quality of life features that I'm the most excited for is there are now like action figure collectibles. These collectibles are kind of like bobbleheads from Fallout 4. If you've ever played Fallout 4, for every single one that you collect, they will give you different stats, buffs, perks. So there's both like packaged collector's edition versions and unopened, like, action figure versions. You can build a display case for them at your outpost. You can just decorate your outpost with them. As far as the last couple of things that are free, there's a new modifier system for enemies. And it is essentially just sort of like giving perks or traits to enemies. There's, for example, like tank. If you find an enemy with the tank modifier, that enemy's health bar is going to be 3 times longer than most of the enemies in the game. You can tune them, turn them off, change them in the gameplay options menu, and you'll see these new modifiers as icons near the enemy health bars, and you can scan them to see what they do. There are new weapon skins. There's Constellation and Neon skins for various weapons. There's some photo mode poses using the Rev 8. There's a couple of new camera features, and the last piece of free content is a new player home. It is essentially a mansion built into an asteroid. I'm excited to see what that looks like, because that reminds me of like if you guys know Halo lore, like the rubble from Halo. That's kind of the impression that I get from this. And then we get into paid content. The new DLC, Terran Armada, is the name of this DLC. It is launching alongside the free update on April 7th. But what I think is cool about this is they've reduced the price. So Shattered Space, for example, I'm from the US, it was 25 USD. Terran Armada is only 9.99 USD. And if you bought the premium edition of Starfield, or if you buy the premium edition upgrade of Starfield, this was retroactively added to that. So if you own it, you're going to get this for free. You don't have to pay the extra $10. On top of that, PS5. The game is coming to PS5. Everybody saw that coming. I don't think that's much of a surprise, but PS5 players kind of have it easy because they did lower the price. This game was a $70 game at launch for just the base game, not including the premium edition. Now the premium edition of the game on the PS5 is $70. So I feel a little bit burned, but it's been 2 years. I don't care anymore. So the question is, what is Terran Armada? What does it bring us as players? So we do have a brand new story revolving around a brand new faction. It is a group of people who left during the Colony War, built an advanced military force comprised entirely of robotic soldiers, which look really fun to fight, and they count towards the robotic skill. So if you needed to upgrade that perk, just go do Terran Armada. You'll level it up very quickly. There is a new companion who is one of these Terran Armada robots. He's been described as not particularly evil, but also definitely not good. So we are getting a morally gray companion, which will be interesting to see. What I look for in most Bethesda DLCs is mechanics, features, what's going to affect me in the long term, even after I beat the story. So Terran Armada is introducing a new system called the Incursion system. These can occur anywhere in the game. They are both part of the storyline and repeatable content. You can farm loot. I'm assuming hopefully we can get X-Tech from these. You'll be able to see where these are when you look at the star map, so you can choose to avoid them if you want to, or you can just choose to go straight to them if that's why you're using the map. But you need to think carefully before you jump into these systems, because this Terran Armada setup is something called an incursion that prevents you from grav jumping out of the system. You have to go down, you have to take this incursion out, destroy the jammer, and then you can leave. You'll be able to pick up new ship parts. There's whole new ships that are like made with Terran specific modules. They described all of the original parts in the game as NASA Punk, and they described these as NASA Tactical. I don't particularly know what that means, but if you know what that means, do with that what you will. That's all there is for ships. There's a couple of new robots. There's a cute little robot dude you can have as like a little follower. There's a lot more gear. There's a lot more weapons. There were a lot of complaints apparently at launch about there not being enough ballistic weapons in the game, or realistic ballistic weapons in the game. So they wanted to rectify that with this DLC. And that looks like everything that they announced today. Man, we are thriving. It's been dead quiet for like a year and a half. And now we are so fucking back, dude. This is gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. But that is a full breakdown of everything coming out in Starfield in April 7th, 3 weeks from now. Man, that's exciting. That's a little scary, but that's exciting. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited for, and I will see you all in the next one.